Good evening, Free Enterprise fans, and welcome to tonight's race between Nightdew and Pankraz. I am Baka Shinobi, and I am joined by the ever-lovely Microcorgs. Thank you for joining me tonight.
Well, thank you for doing comms here with me tonight. This is going to be an amazing night, I think. We've already had one great race, and we have one more after this, but the one right in front of us is the one I'm most interested in right now. We have a deciding third game in the best 2 out of 3 between Nightdew and Pankraz. I bet right now, right before the races are about to start, the nerves are building. They know what's on the line, and one of them is about to punch their ticket into the round of 8.
Oh yeah, you can... The adrenaline is palpable based on the first match, where it's just a few minutes difference between our runners. Nightdew stealing the first win, Pankraz going and coming back with a vengeance in the second seed and putting on a very strong performance. Just, these runners want to advance. They do not want to go, and they're not just here to say, oh yeah, I want to go and do the best I can. No, they want to prove that they are definitely some of the best, and they most certainly have. Pankraz made a big splash in the Fool Gauntlet, coming up very close in his matches against Dusty Griff. If you haven't watched those matches, those are some fantastic ones to catch up on when you're out of Free Enterprise to watch for the moment. And Nightdew has been a tournament staple since the first Zima Zone, coming in second then in the top 4 in the Zima Zone 2, and has just consistently been one of the top placing runners. So both of these runners, I imagine, are hungry.
They certainly are. They're certainly very skilled. Whoever wins this one tonight is absolutely going to be well deserving of it, because each one of them can test the other. Take a look at our objectives. We have the Standard 3, the Forge, the Cave Magnus with their music, trading away that Pinktail. But then we have 2 boss hunts, which, depending on their locations, could kind of be on the opposite ends of the difficulty spectrum. Take a look at those.
Oh yeah, that Ogopogo, he's not one of your favorite bosses to see in any spot that has pretty much any level of appreciable HP or physical attack, because he's going to punch you a bunch, he's going to go and take a lot to get through, he's going to counterattack magic with Blaze, and every so often he's just going to do 50% of your character's max HP and damage, or 25% with those big waves. Rude boss, awful to see on certain hook routes. And then we got Water Hag, who, no matter what, no matter where he is, no matter how much damage you do to him, unless he can go and break the damage cap, he's going to go down in 3 hits, because that's his script. He is a free boss.
I like the fact that both of these boss hunts feature ambiguous sprites. Of course, Ogo is one of a handful of lunar sprites, lunar sparkle sprites, and the Water Hag is our blue robe sprite. I don't want to be too cruel, but I'm hoping that the first time they say a blue robe, they get excited, and then they realize, of course, it's not Water Hag, and it is the Alt Gauntlet. We'll see if that happens, but our race is about to start. We have a barred start. Let's see who gets to join Eddie at the start of the seed.
Go Team Bow users, Eddie Rosa.
And they are immediately given 1/2 of Objective 1. Objective 1 is have Kolkol forge a Legend Sword with Adamant, and they just got the Adamant handed to them by Mom Bomb in the first boss spot of the game. We know one of our required bosses is not at that Baigan spot.
Definitely something that I've never had to go and maybe restart a seed, or, to steal the tech from other people, restart a seed to see who the first boss was, because it's really easy to forget that. But no Mom Bomb there means that Baron Key is not guaranteed to be important, but still a lot of bosses to find.
Yep, I missed it, but it looks like chat is filling us in. They got 33,000 gold. With this flag set, you get a random amount. I think it's between 20 and 80,000, so a bit of a low roll for our runners. So not the immediate bunch of resources. And both of our runners kind of taking maybe what you might consider the B play in terms of loot, in terms of the most frequently. I would say the Watery Pass check is a little more common, but both runners going to the same spot and starting on the same tower.
Yep. This is a weighted treasure flag, T-Pro to be specific. Locations that have trap chests but don't have objectives tend to go and give better loot. So this Evelyn Castle has 3 trap chests, and you can find some higher tier items here. Haven't seen anything immediately amazing, but a heroin robe would probably be very welcome for these runners.
Yeah. So far, the best thing is maybe that power staff, just to give Rosa some high percentage hits to get you through the early fights. But definitely looking for something like a heroin robe or a really high tier bow or a nice set of arrows I don't think either runner has checked their starting gear yet. There's a chance that Eddie could start with dancing daggers, which gets you through those first few fights.
Yeah, an assassin dagger is not the worst item to find, and Pankraz in the last chest in the middle tower finds the chest and resets and loses all the looting that Pankraz has done.
Assassin Dagger exit item is kind of a nice little thing to get early when you have a Rosa start. Rosa is not going to learn the exit spell unless the runners complete the Tower of Zot. So they might have to decide where to choose their spot where they want to use that. You might, if they have an early hook, you might see them use it to check the hook character and then exit out. You might see it in an early Cave Magnus, but that's I like finding those early.
Yeah, worst case, you can always just burn it in the Antlion Cave, save 20 or 30 seconds walking out. It's probably not your favorite use for it, but it's definitely going to go and save you a bit of time. Pankraz has found all the trap chests. There are 2 in the right tower and 1 in the middle, so is going to be looking through, and we'll see what Pankraz goes back to keep.
I saw a Poison Axe and a Cat Claw, and depending on who that Hobbs character is, I'd be happy with either of those if you have the Cane, or maybe even a Sid for the Poison Axe and a Yang for that Cat Claw. Looks like Nightdew, though, is going to follow up this looting. Not satisfied yet with the more conventional Watery Pass check.
Yeah, Water Pass does not have any trap chests in it, but it does have 0 objectives attached to it, so also a place that has higher than average loot. Pankraz did not seem to be interested in keeping the Assassin Dagger or the Power Staff or the Exit, and instead choosing to just go to Mist, it seems.
See if we get a little extra loot, or is this a shopping trip? Looks like a shopping trip. Got 33k burning a hole in his pocket. There's our dancing dagger. That's a vanilla dancing dagger in Mist Village. Good pickup there. Yeah, that dancing dagger can be used as an item. Will go and cast effectively a spell that goes and does 300 to 400 points of damage on most enemies. Very good early damage. And it looks like Pankraz is confident enough with those dancing daggers to take on this Hobbs check. We'll see what character it is. We see, again, I'm kind of rooting for a blue robe here that turns out not to be Water Hag, but I don't get to make that decision. The randomization does. We'll see what Rando has in store for our runners up on Hobbs today. Oh, it's going to be very interesting to see what we get. And Nightdew is looting the back of Watery Pass as well, choosing the O and not go shopping in Mist for a dancing dagger, but did find an archer bow, which is a damage upgrade over the short bow, if only because the short bow has awful accuracy. Got a user for that poison axe. I'd be very happy to find a Sid after the starting characters. Rosa's not being too strong yet, and Eddie probably not ever getting too strong under these flags. So Sid, big HP, can use that poison axe, and I think a welcome member to this team. Yep, I don't know if we have a second bow, so we do not have a second bow to back row glitch Sid. But we may see Rosa giving up her bow for a second so that Sid can go and take a turn with a bow and arrow to get the back row glitch. Yeah, that back row glitch, if you're new to Free Enterprise or Final Fantasy IV in general, is really important because you get all the benefits of being in the back row where you have increased defense, but you can still do full damage. So by temporarily equipping any long-range weapon, such as a bow and arrow, or say in Rydia's case, a whip or something like that, you can, it tricks the game into thinking you're always wearing that weapon, and it's a really useful thing that every competitive runner knows to do. Yep. We see that Nightdew is trying to go and do something also somewhat unique, and if you go and attack a character with a power staff, you have a chance of berserking them, and that is something that can be very helpful, as Berserk is a level 20-ish spell for Rosa. Getting it this early to get through this evil wall would be very pleasant, but no such luck for Nightdew. So Nightdew wasn't trying to reenact some long-forgotten lore about Rosa hating Sid? It's nice. He's kind of the surrogate father for Cecil. Well, surrogate father for Cecil. Absolutely agree. But evil wall is proving to be quite rude. Nightdew does not have the poison axe that Pankraz went out of his way to keep from the left tower. Nightdew has pretty much all the other loot from the 2 towers of Evelyn, which is... unfortunately, we're seeing which one is helping out a bit more, as Sid is slowly
grinding through this wall and just barely gets through.
Nice job, Sid. 12 hit points out of that 700. That humongous hit point pool was put to the test, and Sid was victorious.
Yeah, though there is a slight disadvantage for Nightdew. He might have gotten through the fight, but now he needs to recover so he can go and do, well, anything. 12 HP is not going to take you very far, but you can go and get a number of free heals in the overworld. Nightdew might choose to go not to Antlion Cave, but to perhaps Fabul to get a free heal.
I'm looking at both of our runners' inventories. Where's all the nice stuff that I usually get in my seeds? Where's a big stack of Cure 2s and life potions?
Turns out when you don't go and start with the ability to sell like anything, you can not really afford to buy a lot of that stuff because sell 0 is on. Everything sells for 0. That's why they started with 33,000 gold, and her runners are being very careful spending it.
They are, and I think exactly like you said, Nightdew, as easy as Antlion can be, and Nightdew doesn't know that there's a boss in Antlion that doesn't do any physical damage. Yeah, without the HP. Now, he did just buy some Cure 2s. We'll see if he commits to doing Fabul right now, or if he takes that and does Antlion. Looks like he's going to go do Fabul.
Yeah, that makes a fair amount of sense. You're already here. The checks, only 1,000 HP in Antlion, 1,800 or so at Fabul defense, so not a big difference in HP, and with Sid, you're going to be able to do decent damage. xPankraz is already through that playthrough and got a Luca key for his efforts.
Not too useful yet. That's an underground check, so our runners are either going to need the magma key or the hook to open up their passage underground and then perhaps use that Luca key. It's a bit of a higher level dungeon, so most runners don't go there immediately, so we'll see if and when that gets used.
Yeah, and Nightdew going and setting up, getting the Berserk off on Sid, and is rewarded with a good Berserk for Sid. Sid is now going to do 50% extra damage on physical attack and automatically attack, saving time on menuing.
Yep, it was not successful during that evil wall fight, but nice timing to get it here, getting through Balnub and Balnub Z pretty quickly.
And Sid's hammer doing what seems like rather wildly varying damage, but in fact, Dr. Luge and the second form of Dr. Luge are weak to hammers because they're machine-type enemies. Balnub Z, interestingly enough, is not a machine-type enemy.
I guess because it's a man piloting a machine, if we wanted to make some logical sense out of it, which we probably shouldn't.
I don't know if you want to apply too much logic to Dr. Luge. He seems like a scary person to enter the mind of.
I agree. Before Pankraz came over, he did check the waterfall. We saw, I believe it was Leviathan there, so immediate reset, Leviathan not required.
And we do get the magma key from Fabul, which is one of our ways underground, and I think the runner's preferred way underground.
Yeah, without the magma key, you go through what we call the hook route, which features 2 potentially very difficult boss fights, but our runners will not have to deal with them unless, of course, both of our required bosses happen to be sitting in those spots, which would be pretty rare, but I wouldn't mind seeing it. Would be kind of a funny way for the seed to play out, but there's plenty of boss checks left before either of our runners, even after getting the hook, are going to bother looking there.
Yeah, though we can go and see one of the bosses of the hook route, both when we walk through Cave Eblin to check the character and maybe recruit someone helpful there, such as a Visoya or an Edge. But we'll also see them if or when we go and do the lower battle check, as when the teleporter is used, we see that boss going up as well. And if it's a blue or a sparkle, well, can you afford not to check it if you get a hook?
Yeah, especially if you're one objective away from go mode. We have 5 objectives listed on the screen, but under this flag set, you only need to complete 4. When you do that, you get your crystal, which allows you to transform Zeromus into a form that can take damage, and as long as you have access to Zeromus, then you can go and try to win the seed, complete the game. But yep, 4 out of 5 is the path to the end of the seed here.
Yeah, that crystal is it is half of go mode. The other half is a way to Zeromus, which there are 2 ways to get to Zeromus. There is the darkness crystal, which opens up the entire moon, and the pass, which opens the back door to Zeromus.
And importantly, only Zeromus. Every once in a while, and I probably had this question when I was first playing, you know, can you use the pass and then back out and still have access to the moon? The answer is no. It's Zeromus only. And no, it's really useful during a Zeromus fight, a cursed ring. Did you see Nightdew picked up a cursed ring in the looting Dwarf Castle? Good pickup.
Yeah, you might wonder, that cursed ring, when I look at it, does -15 to all stats. How is that helpful? Well, that comes down to the agility system, and let's just leave it at, if you make your anchor character really, really, really low agility, you don't have to worry about enemies being faster than you, because you can make everyone, except for your anchor, the same speed.
Yep, helps during all the tough boss fights, including the final boss. One tough boss is Golbez, but Pankraz kind of knew he had an Eddie in the party, and it's potentially the most useful thing Eddie's going to do this entire seed. Not a guarantee, but maybe. He immediately had Eddie hide because Golbez is going to summon, well, there's his pet dragon, and it's going to leave, it's going to kill everyone until there's 2 people left, and with Eddie hiding, there's 2 people left. So he now has his full party back. Eddie reveals himself and is probably going to put on, going to just throw Grimoire, try to take this 400 Golbez, hit point Golbez out in one summon. And unfortunately, it rolled an Odin, one of the few that will not damage this Golbez.
Yeah, I kind of feel like Imp would have been less insulting. I think Eddie is going to go and get his just reward, his just desserts for that, as Golbez sends out a virus, knocks down Eddie, and ooh, this is getting quite rude, as Rosa takes a big hit too.
Got a good roll on that second Poison Axe swing, put him over the threshold, but we're going to have one character alive going to the second fight. Let's see who is revealed behind the Golbez.
It's a vanilla karate fight. This has achieved one mark of pride of going to be able to get as many points of vanilla as possible, and I do believe he enjoys seeing it as often as he can. He likes to keep track.
Put one up on the board. And this, it's a good thing Sid has some hit points, because this karate's hitting hard.
Yeah, he's Yang is definitely not going and taking it easy on the team. Just, you know, wants to go and make sure that we're all fighting our best, it seems. And this is going to be some kind of rude HP to try and chew through.
We saw a Sparkle and a Kane Natso down in the Feymarch boss check. If that, I believe we're going to get that Sparkle peaked right away, because that is the potential Ogopogo. I think it's 1 in 5 chance at this point. Actually, we already saw a Plague, so slightly better odds.
Yeah, we're down to 1 in 4, 25%. Is this information as to one of our objectives, or is this just going to be another person that we'll have to come back to later? Someone to come back to later. That's Heldim, one of the 5 moon bosses. That one is probably one of the, I would say, safer moon bosses, as it merely punches and has a lot of interesting counter scripts, but not the worst. They're also not really fun to see in a very punchy spot.
No, you're going to want some Dragoon gear, armor, Dragoon killing gear of some sort to make that fight a little more palatable. As Pankraz continues his battle of attrition against Karate, throwing illusions, throwing Cure 2s, taking swings when he can. He is tenaciously holding on to this, and we'll see if he can get through it.
Yeah, I do believe Pankraz is one of the things about that Golbez fight. We saw that, yeah, he didn't go and manage to kill anyone off because he hit Eddie. The longer you go into the seed, the less likely you are going to be continuing with just 3 characters. And even more so, you really don't want to go without characters for very long, because we do not have catch-up experience on. And there is no way, normally in the Enterprise flags, if you have a party of 5, characters who are behind the median get double experience. With this check now, Pankraz is going to go and get a 4th party member, but will never get double experience in any characters outside of the normal key item boost.
Yeah, so it's great to have the ones you want along as long as you possibly can to gain all that experience. No key item from that check, just a light sword. Decent weapon if a Cecil strolls along and we don't have anything better for him. I'm wondering if either you or a tracker can help out. What was the Feymarch freebie check? I think I missed that one.
I also missed the frame rate freebie. It doesn't look like it was a key item, as I don't see anything on the board for Nightdew. This seed definitely certainly has not been rather generous with the key items, if I'm being entirely honest.
So you're saying we should go to the moon now, even without the darkness crystal, because that's where all the key items are.
Exactly.
Look, speaking of the moon, though, lunar staff, I think, was the item, as reported by our restreamer Dathis.
Ah, yes, that is a +10 willpower staff. Great for white mages when they're casting white magic, and not so great at any other point, to be entirely honest.
Yeah, picking that up 15 minutes into the seed is rather underwhelming.
Can't even really help you because if you use it as an item, it tries to cast a spell, which is not on because we do not have J spells on.
Nightdew starting, one of the a very popular play when you have early underground access and you have a siren or two. Why not do one? Immediately give your team 34,000 experience. That's very significant, less than 20 minutes into a seed. So we see a lot of runners doing that. Nightdew has taken advantage, and I guess he's going to go back up to the overworld and use his powers and probably have a slightly easier time through this Karate Man in Baronin.
As long as he remembers to do some healing, as all his team is at 1 HP. Might not go in. I mean, definitely stopped and stared at that Golbez and Yang, and yeah, is walking up to the end. Is going to go in full heal after this.
Picture his team like peeking around the corner of that wall and say, "Oh, hey, Golbez, let me go take a nap."
Let's come back to this when we're a bit more rested and ready. But Pankraz did pick up that curse ring that Nightdew found in the Dwarf Castle, so no advantage for either runner on that front, but still a lot of seed left.
See if Nightdew does the immediate hide tactic as well. There it goes. Eddie is out of here.
Definitely Nightdew is much more likely to go and have a more pleasant fight, as I think Nightdew managed to find an Ogre Axe, if I'm not mistaken, and may go and be able to do a bit more reliable damage. And hopefully, with a 34,000 experience, just do 400 damage to Golbez outright, which is enough to get the spot to say, all right, we're done here.
Yep, try to avoid any kind of spell hits, or at the very worst, one spell hit. And then we'll see if also he goes for the Berserk strats again with the Power Staff on that leveled up Yang. Sid.
Yeah. I don't know if he got enough experience to let Rosa cast Berserk outright. Pankraz going and checking the shops and seeing some interesting things. Sorry, I interrupt. Well, Sid did 400 damage straight up, but
got some done to him too. Yeah.
We'll have to see how well things go for Nightdew, as he will need to heal off that Sid right away.
Yeah, even if he dodges the first hit, it looks like the kicks are doing in the mid-hundreds of damage here. So, but looks like he's getting him at least out of that zone. We'll see if a hit from Karate here can hurt him. And you were right. I think we just crossed the threshold to Berserk for Rosa. So Sid's going to start swinging away, and this fight will not take too long.
Yeah, it's going to go much faster for Nightdew than it did for Pankraz. As Pankraz is treading the ground that Nightdew's gone through, going and looting the Fey March, going to go and get that Lunar Staff, probably check the bosses and peek to see who's there. And while the runners are treading similar ground, let's go and give a shout out to our behind-the-scenes team, Dathis, who is our restreamer, and Chazman, who is our tracker. Both of them wouldn't go and be able to put on a great show without them, so go and give them a follow. And a shout out to Microcourse for joining me on commentary.
Yeah, those behind-the-scene folks are great, as is Baka. Baka, you've been streaming more lately. People should follow you as you do your ladder races. A lot of fun to watch you.
The ladder has been a lot of fun, so, if you don't follow me, you can always just join the ladder and have some fun playing some free enterprise yourself.
Agreed.
Always fun to play some competitive free enterprise. Probably why so many people love to join these tournaments, like Nightdew and Pankraz.
As we said, they're hoping to join the top 8, and we had like over 100 people enter. So getting to that, they use the phrase the Elite 8 in the NCAA basketball tournament, and that definitely applies here. you know, both these runners are elite, and just getting into that top 8 would really cement that even further.
Yeah, we have continued to have a stiff field of runners since the first Themis Zone, and there's always runners you see. It's like, yeah, they're definitely one of the top runners. They're definitely guaranteed to get to the top 16. It has been harder and harder to go and say who's definitely getting the top 16. We have had a lot of old blood like Nightdew show up, and we have had a number of people who have shown up in some tournaments, not as their first run in Free Enterprise, but as in the first tournaments of Free Enterprise, but definitely late car the randomizer. XPankraz first showed up on the scene in Zenith Zone 3, our previous tournament, and has been a big presence in tournaments since.
That's for sure. I think the phrase dodging Pankraz whenever the random assignments came out was something a lot of people would say.
Yeah, that he is not the person you want to go and race against a lot of times, just because he is, you can see it here, he is very efficient, he's very clean, he is a top 8 runner for a good reason, and Nightdew is keeping pace with him, as Nightdew is also going and making good checks and just keeping things going, as Nightdew is going to go into this Luca cave, find this plague, and get that Luca key almost guaranteed.
Still typically a little early for most runners to check that. We'll see if any of the runners either grinds up to check it or kind of... I think I'd be surprised if either runner went to Sealed Cave before some of the other underground checks. But that could be, you know, with this being a deciding Game 3, one runner might decide to give it a peek.
Yeah, you can go and see the key item before you have to fight the boss, but you can't avoid fighting the boss without going and, well, defeating the boss of Sealed Cave. And that boss is pretty late game, so you might not want to go and take that fight for a long time. Speaking of long time, there is a risk of going and holding on to your goods for too long and not getting anything out of them. Both the runners choosing to go and use their Siren early, and Xpankraz getting slightly more value having 4 characters while Nightdew only had 3. And Xpankraz is doing what you're suggesting.
Here it is. We'll see. It's the interesting thing is going to happen is kind of what you were hinting at, is we might find something that's absolutely required, and then we might find a boss that is very difficult here, but Xpankraz might just be supplementing his experience with a trapdoor grind. It looks like that's about to happen.
Yeah, that is something that... One of the things you can do with this fight is this fight only does one thing. It casts Disrupt. Disrupt kills your character, no matter how much life they have, no matter how well protected they are. They're going to, unfortunately, keel over, unless they're protected by a ribbon, or have a Star Veil up, because Star Veils will reflect the Disrupt, and the trapdoor is not immune to its own tricks.
You can see it keeps targeting a different runner, but Xpankraz making great use of Eddie's hide, and it had to retarget, and it targeted someone who he had a Star Veil up on, so another nice batch of experience coming in for Pankraz's team. Nicely done there.
The door tried to go and disrupt Pankraz's game, but Xpankraz just knew how to disrupt its game instead.
Turns out Yang was rubber, and the door was glue.
Well, that disrupt definitely stuck to that door, as it didn't stick to Rosa, though I did see Xpankraz is at single digits for life potions. Might be something Xpankraz wants to take a look and try and find.
Yep, and he did burn 2 of his Star Veils there. Unless he bought more that I missed, I think he's down to 2 at this point, so definitely probably want more life potions than Star Veils, but there are a handful of bosses where Star Veils are either essential or just make life a lot easier.
I agree, and speaking of making things life easier, a Pink Tail does make things easier, as that is half of Objective 3, and Nightdew got that from the Sheila 1 check. Xpankraz has not set that up, and instead looks to have gotten enough experience to feel confident about going into Dwarf Castle.
We get 2 boss checks here. We're about to see one jump up from behind the wall, and because we didn't see anything jump up from behind the wall, we all know that is Antlion. Antlion is the one sprite where we do not see any evidence, so we know that one of these enemies is not one of the ones we need. We'll see if the second one pays off.
Meanwhile, Nightdew is finding Octomem at the first spot of Ordeals, also not one of the bosses you need, and not a terribly rude boss. It's just going to do physical punches, but this bot has, I believe, the weakest physical attack in the game.
Even with all those tentacles, it's not going to hurt that much?
It's going to try, but it missed Sid in the back row, and it's missed Eddie in the back row too. It really wants, it wants to reach out and touch someone, but it just can't connect.
I request that the devs add like a whooshing sound effect for when that happens. There's got to be a tentacles air sound effect out there that we can add.
I mean, Octomom is just switching to touch someone.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
definitely.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Antlion is not failing to go and touch anyone, as definitely going and really lay in some good punches. Yang has gone down, Edward has gone down, Rosa is going in blinked up to keep her protected enough. Nightdew,
we got the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah, the first boss was the best, the weakest boss to go and be in that spot. This boss, one of the worst.
Yeah, can any of these characters now we're about to see, will this Berserk on Sid lead to damage or a whole bunch of misses?
We have one option. Rosa can use aim. Aim sets your accuracy to maximum and cannot go and be evaded. So Rosa can do damage. All of the melee fighters can't, though, which is going to make this fight very slow if Rosa does not have a good bow and arrow. 276
close to 300. Yep. It's not terrible.
There are worse options.
Yep.
But it is also less than 10% of the spot's HP, so it may take him.
I think he looks like he's committed at this point. He didn't save after the first, after the easy Octomom, and it looks like he's gonna gut this one out with the aim command. I wonder how many arrows we have.
Speaking of commitment, we are now committed to Dark Knight Cecil appearing at the second spot in Dwarf Castle. Going to go and do a bunch of Dark Waves, and then to go and give a speech, because that is what his script is. And Pankraz is trying to go and get Porum, of all characters, up. Wants to go and get a second source of Berserk, if I'm guessing.
Yep, Porum just added to the party. As we know, no slingshot here because that mechanic is off. But yep, trying to get that initial about, I think, 20k here applied to that Porum.
And chat pointing out that kick can be used. It is not a physical attack in the normal sense. It is a different calculation. It is going to do a bit less damage, but don't know how much you're getting out of Yang. But Yang defending does go and mean that he can tank hits better, which might be very important.
We also have the other part of Val. You're not only racing against her hit points, you're racing against her ability to cast Ray on you, which gradually petrifies your characters. I think we're getting pretty close. I've seen some rolls over 400 from this Rosa. But
yeah, though. Sid is petrified. Somewhat hard to see, but you do not see the little panic.
He's trying. He can't. He's all stone. Like, he would be he's literally petrified.
Only not with fear, but Rosa bravely getting through that, down to the last 4 HP. And Nightdew is through this very rude ordeals.
Yeah, good job sticking to that one. And it looks like Pankraz pulled the hook out of the Dwarf Castle reward. So we know where Objective 3 is coming from, and I think Pankraz is probably going to get that checked off pretty soon, because he's going to be setting up his Sheila check. He'll have that pink tail. He's got the hook, and we'll see not only Objective 3 get ticked off for Pankraz pretty soon, we'll see what kind of great level 7, tier 7 gear that he might get from that check.
Yeah, and that looks, if I'm not mistaken, like a package from the Ordeals Chamber.
Yep, that's correct. Potential good character check, but first we have to get through these Magus Sisters.
Definitely, the gated characters can go and give either Edge or Fusoya in addition to any other character. Fusoya is definitely a very big pickup, though Edge can also go and be very important, because you can steal Sirens with Edge on these flags. That is something that was recently added with one of the later versions of Free Enterprise, where the J drop tables were restored, and you can steal a number of useful things with Edge.
Yeah, and given the money limitations, though, you know, our runners are earning more money with their fights, but they can't earn any money from selling their gear. So some runners might choose to take the economical route, have Edge obtain sirens for free using the ethically abstain sirens for free command, or it might be called sneak. It's one of the two.
Yeah, it's sneak in this version. But yeah, you can sneak sirens, you can go and sneak Bacchus wines from ogres, though that is a trap chest fight usually, and much slower than trying to go and just steal some from these alerts that exist in lower Babel you're already walking through.
If you had Pankraz's team at this point, is there a certain item that you're hoping to see out of this?
Artemis bow is always good because that is a big power bow, and it's a great weapon for Sid. It's a great weapon to have in general.
That's a pretty good weapon too, though.
It's very hard to argue against a crystal sword unless Cecil never shows up. And then you can't even assert dominance by selling it because it's still treated the same as everything else you sold.
Yeah, I don't know. If you sell a crystal sword for 0, is that more or less dominance? But let's see if Nightdew reveals to us a Cecil in this seed. It looks like we're going to get a package check.
Yep, that's an Edge. That is an interesting temptation. How do you feel about Edge on these flags, Microcorks?
I feel pretty good, though I'm confused that looks like the town of Mist is about to be burned down with love. So, I mean, love is a burning thing. And, it can make a ring. Sorry. But yeah, it looks like we're committed to taking this Edge. We're also going to get a little boss check at the end of it, and that's always fun if one of the required bosses ends up at the end of this.
Yeah, this is one of the few times where if it's a blue robe, we'll be able to tell right away if it's the water hag we need or the old gauntlet we want to never see.
Also, we all know who.
Sorry.
I was just going to say, we all know who Pankraz is hoping to see as he takes a few more steps towards his character check. He just has a crystal sword. And look, hey, we have another Edge. Quicker Edge.
That's a little rude. All right, so we see that there's a red robe at Rubicon. That is probably Dark Imps. Yep. And we're probably not going to go and check that. Nightdew, if this is one of the required bosses, this is going to be a big advantage for Nightdew.
And if it's not, it'll be a minute or so time gain for Pankraz if he would have taken that Edge otherwise.
Yeah, that's there are no duplicates on this flag set, so you can't go and just fill up your party with Edges or any character you want. You have to go and take who you're offered. We are also on Distinct 10, so there will be 3 duplicate characters in this seed.
All right, moment of truth for this boss. It is someone in a robe, but the robe is purple and not blue, so we only have a Mylon here.
Oh, and it's Mylon and friends. That's definitely not what you want to see. Knight's just going to feel okay for the moment, but if he goes and checks that Hook character, he is going to feel a lot less okay.
Yeah.
And Pankraz, going straight to Ordeals, is going to go and get this package, and you're going to see there's another Edge here, which having a Ninja Sword and a Middle Sword feels pretty good for Edge.
Yeah, you're asking me how I feel about Edge on these flags. Generally, pretty good. I mean, I think most folks are going to take them, take an Edge early and even into mid, especially if you have weapons, and then all that other stuff you said, the utility of stealing sirens, even though we did find them for sale in Eblin. If you're going to go do Tower of Babel anyway, and you're not kind of committing to an early high siren number grind, and you maybe just need maybe 3 to 5 for a late grind, it still might be, if you have a good setup, perhaps quicker to just steal a few and check a trap in Eblin.
Yeah, I agree. It is definitely something where I just feel so much better having Edge around to go, and I can get sirens to short my grind. I can go and get Bacchus wine if I just absolutely need it for my Zeromus fight because I have no other sources of Berserk. I'm a bit of an Edge fanboy, but Edge also has another skill that might become very useful in this next Ordeals fight.
And I don't think you're talking about casting fire on Valvalis, are you?
No, I believe we've just demonstrated why Dart's a nice thing. Drain Spears are actually kind of popular to purchase if you have the money because they're a high attack weapon for only 6,000 gold. Also, throw can't miss, even if FLS is spinning, so that's another source of damage.
It's nice. I mean, she's a tornado. It's nice that you throw something into it and it doesn't come flying back at you even faster. So you're right. It just hits. It's a perfect hit every time.
It's always something you just love to see because, you know, you don't want it coming back to you.
And there's a really useful dart. That lightsaber, no longer needed. We have a crystal sword if we find a Cecil, and that lightsaber did 2,500 damage. What a quicker fight. So it's funny, Nightdew gained some time on that Baron fight, and Pankraz gained some time here on the Ordeals 2 fight.
Yeah, that it's interesting seeing the back and forth on that front, as Nightdew might also gain a bit of time on this Dwarf Castle fight, though Pankraz did take that door to get some extra experience, and was a bit, is just a bit higher level overall. Oh, and Nightdew is unfortunately not going to throw that lightsaber because he doesn't know that there's going to be a crystal sword at the end of this.
In his position, would you hesitate to throw it? Because it's, you know, it's a good weapon. Yeah,
no,
you would hesitate?
I would absolutely hold off on throwing it because if I get Cecil, cover's nice, but that damage, this fight, you know, you can get through it. You're not. It's going to be a little slower, but the counters aren't that bad. You can blink to keep things going.
You wouldn't think to yourself, because we know Classic Forge is on, so you're not going to get one from the Forge objective, but it has been added to the KI pool, but it's a bit of a gamble.
Yeah, that is
holding out hope.
I might be more inclined to go and chuck it after this fight, because you're just about to get a character check for Nightdew, and if that's Cecil, you're going to feel a little miffed because I had a great weapon for you, and then I yeeted it.
You do have the Ogre Axe, though, but yes, lightsaber's better.
Yeah, and that Ogre Axe is on Sid at the moment, who Sid's other weapon is a wooden hammer, so playing that, you know, weapon Tetris, as it were, where you're just going and shifting from one to another. You know, Cecil is always good in the party, even if he doesn't have a weapon because of that cover ability. But lightsaber, it's a third best holy sword for Cecil and one of his better weapons. I would be remiss to go and just get rid of it without having a good replacement.
Yeah. I don't think we've seen Myla on Z either yet, and if he's in a high hit point spot, a lightsaber does pretty good work against him.
Yeah, Mylon Z, weak to holy damage. Unfortunately for Mylon Z, also weak to undead, which the crystal sword hits, so you're near guaranteed to always do max damage on Mylon Z unless for some reason Cecil is level 1 and wearing a cursed ring.
So Pankraz saw the second edge, knows that dupes are not on, said no thank you, and I'm glad I saw the hook one first, and it looks like we're going into tower. Quick save, yep, back up into the tower. Don't have the tower key, so I guess I'm assuming this is going to be our keyless tower check.
Looks like it, and it seems to be hitting chests that are not too far out of the way. Might be hoping to go and hit a trap chest and do some stealing here, as we might see some rather unique interactions in this between these characters.
That is true. We have a party combination that's not possible in the vanilla Final Fantasy IV game. We have Porum and Edge on the team at the same time, so if Pankraz does that route where he attempts to ethically obtain sirens for free, the young Porum can help out. She's got this command called Cry, which I heard a great description of given on the earlier restream match today, but just to kind of simplify it, Cry increases the likelihood that Edge can successfully steal a siren. But it looks like right now Pankraz isn't going that route. He might decide to do that on the way back down.
Yeah, he might also be going checking that boss on the top of the tower, who is a Sparkle, and there's a 1 in 3 chance it's one of the Sparkles we want to, with the 1 in 3 chance the Sparkle we want to see.
Keep narrowing down. Will we get to narrow down again, or are we hitting the nail on the head? Or do we know the next time we see one, it's a coin flip? Let's find out who this is.
Yeah, this is, hey, it's the other lunar boss we definitely don't want to see.
And there go the last of the Star Veils. Oop, one more back there. does Pankraz get all 3 off. 2 is pretty good. Tricky to get 3 given his current setup.
Flex back, 4,000 damage, but I don't know if we've got... Oh, using 1 Bacchus Wine is going to go and use life potions on the team to get people back up. Yang is going to go and just start punching. Meanwhile, Nightdew is getting the news.
I was just going to say I didn't like that first punch very much. It was about 700.
You really want to see at least 4 digits in this fight because, hey, look, Nuke's coming out, and it kind of hurts. And this spot has 20-ish thousand HP, 28,000 HP. It has a lot because of, well, this is where Dr. Luge is, and it's split into 4 parts, so there's a fair amount of HP split across all those parts. Now all combined into one entity. Oh, that's rude.
Taking out a Berserk Yang. But now Sid's getting the Berserk treatment, and I think we're getting low on life potions, it looks like. We do have 1 life or 2 life casters. So yeah, the name of the game here is juggling lives as every turn. Wyvern is either going to take someone out, or if you can full heal some of those higher hit point people, it's going to basically 2-shot them. So Pankraz doing a good job keeping his party up. Let's see if his consumables can keep up with his intentions.
Yeah, it's just trying to keep the Berserks up as well. You have to go and push damage on this fight. You can't go and risk letting things run out as, yeah, there goes down Edge. Wall did wear off on Wyvern, which causes the Remedy to cast, and that's only 18,000, as Remedy is 10% of the target's maximum HP. But Wyvern's back up and ready to go for some more nukes.
Yeah, that Remedy is basically the equivalent of 1 round of his melee fighters attacking. So we'll see if he can kind of make up that damage.
Yeah. Pankraz running out of life potions. Either didn't like it or is going to go back in for another shot, see if things can go a bit more in Pankraz's favor, it seems.
See if there's a battle speed adjustment. Pankraz is very good at, let's see, yep, down to 3.
Pointing out that Yang also broke because of the Mimic glitch, which, if you cast Berserk, you can sometimes get a weird glitch where if you cast it too soon, the character never takes a turn again, and yeah, Pankraz can't afford that on that fight.
Do you think that was because that reacts to something that the enemy is doing sometimes, or another character? Do you think that was a reaction to like a null turn from Wyvern during the Remedy?
I'm not entirely certain. I think it's because Yang never got his turn back after getting revived.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
It's like the game didn't know that he had a turn, essentially.
Yes. He had never entered the queue, so he didn't know when to come back up, it seems. It is easy to do, as it's very easy to just trigger it sometimes in some of these fights.
See, Nightdew has earned some more cash and using it to buy a handful of Sirens and Hourglasses. Really great combo for a Moon Grind if we ever find that Darkness Crystal. For all we know, maybe it's behind this pretty pesky Wyvern at the top of tower. There's only a few checks remaining to our runners here on Earth. We'll see if any more open up as they complete some of them. But, yep, Nightdew kind of has some good resources at this point.
Yeah. Nightdew... I don't know if Nightdew is going to commit to this Wyvern as much as Pankraz is. I think Nightdew is about to... Okay, Nightdew is choosing to go somewhere else at the moment. But... Now, that's a good question. If you're Nightdew, where do you want to go?
I mean, Keyless Tower is always a temptation, you know, as the underground checks start to wear out. And we are seeing a heal, which suggests to me that we're not doing Fey March. Because you take damage on the way down. So this is either... top of tower, or this is Luca. I'm going to guess he's going to be following Pankraz up that tower.
I definitely can't disagree with that, but it looks like Nightdew is doing some grinding, it seems.
Could be a good call, given what awaits at the top.
Yeah, and this is going to go and close some of that experience deficit that Pankraz opened up with that early Sealed Cave cheeky door grind with a couple Star Veils.
Yeah, we can compare Pankraz's Sid 1578 and Nightdew's 1494, so about 100 difference, and Nightdew might end up surpassing that at this point.
Yeah, and that Porum is going to go and get some experience, be a second source of Berserk as well, which might be Nightdew's primary concern. Now that I think about it. Nope, Nightdew is just, I want to power up more. Let's get going. Nightdew is only at 10 key items, so only getting 34,000 instead of the doubled 64,000. You do get double experience for the 10 key item bonus, but you will not get 10 double experience additionally on characters who are far behind the party level.
Nice job by Pankraz, sticking with that. Slight party rearrange and a much better outcome, slower battle speed, all that helps to get through the Wyvern at top of tower, and we'll see if this is progress or if our runners have to look somewhere else. I'm going to guess this is, yep, there's some progress for us. That is a Baron key.
Imagine Pankraz is actually not terribly pleased because he did have to use a number of resources, specifically 2 of his very few and precious Star Veils.
I imagine, though, he will, whether he likes it or not, he's going to follow up on that Baron key. Another chance at a Cecil. We have a Mom Bomb to get through in the Baigan spot, and we'll see what awaits on the throne itself. But this team is 100% strong enough to tackle anything. We know Golbez is gone, Wyvern is gone.
Val is gone.
Who else?
Val is gone.
Oh, yes, yes.
So I'm going to put a power 3 of bosses I don't want to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're at the top of the list.
That terrible, terrible back attack Val. How could I forget?
Evil Wall's gone too from that Mount Hobbs check.
Yeah, one of the few nasty bosses left is that required number 4, who's only really nasty if you find him in certain spots, which, we are kind of using up our easier spots. We'll see, Ogo on the Baron Throne would be a really happy sight for our runners.
Yeah, that is, with this party, with these levels, I'm more than happy to see Ogopogo there because I can chew through 4,000 HP better than I can chew through, say, 40,000 HP in the Ribbon Room on the moon.
That's true. I'm excited. Doesn't look like Nightdew is doing a door grind. Looks like we're going to get our key item check concealed and our boss check. Nightdew is, did grind it up a little bit, but I think there are still some magical bosses. Do we have any left? This is a high magic spot, if I recall.
We've got we saw Leviathan in the waterfall, if I'm not mistaken. So
that's right. Magus Sisters are gone.
Yep, the Magus Sisters are gone. Trying to think of some other ones. Mylon 1 is gone, who even his lit ones will hurt in this location.
Yeah.
Rubikint has not been found, if I'm not mistaken, so we could go and get some very hot leg, but an Excalibur, not what you really care about when you already have a Crystal Sword in your inventory.
Yep, but we do have to check the bosses. We have 2 required, and the Demus is still out there too, if I'm not mistaken.
Very true. This is very much so not required, though. Dolls are... I'm happy to not have to fight them on a team with virtually no AoE damage. Those dolls are much more simple when you can just cast Quake, rather than, I have to go and either stop them or kill them one by one.
Yeah, the nibbling around the edges technique is not too fun sometimes, especially if you make one little mistake and you accidentally leave one doll up, and then suddenly you're dealing with the big doll.
Yeah, misjudge your damage. Don't go and kill the Cal. Well, there's the big doll. Have fun with that. But Nightdew is on his way to have fun with Wyvern, while Pankraz is on his way to have some fun with Mom Bomb. Why is Mom Bomb so much fun in this spot, Microcorks?
Well, it is, soon after Mother's Day, but I don't think that's what you're getting at. I think what you're getting at is this is a relatively early game spot with not too many hit points, except a funny part of Mom Bomb's setup is that she's going to get an extra, I think it's like 9K, 9,000. I always estimate 10,000 in my head, but a bunch more. Like, what's the regular HP here? Like in the 2,000 to 3,000 range, and then we're adding 9 to 10 on top, 9 on top of that, essentially.
Yeah, this is maybe the spot has 5,000 HP, but you are not going to go and need to fight too long with characters doing four-digit damage with between that Yang and Sid. This would definitely be over by now if it were not Mom Bomb.
Yep, for a moment, Pankraz was waiting on Edge, because what you might want to do as soon as it explodes is cast Edge's Flame spell too, because that is basically our only AoE at the moment. We'll see if it gets back around to Edge, or if he can clear out Mom Bomb before the transformation to the little bombs. And he does. Nice job.
To go and chew through that HP, it is slow enough to not get to the point of saying exploding, fast enough to go and be annoying enough. Well, speaking of being annoying, Wyvern continues to chew through the Brenner's potion supply. And is this our 50-50? Are we winning or losing this?
Coin flip time. It is tails. Well, so the next sparkle we see, we know is the one. That was easy.
So now we know the next thing we're going to find is a blue robe.
We're going to see a blue robe on the Odin throne, aren't we?
Watch it have darkness too, just to have that extra insult. Pankraz going and just trying to select that crystal sword, not getting any success.
Despite her closeness to Cecil, Rosa does not know how to wield the crystal sword.
Apparently, go and get that from family bonds.
Yeah, they should share hobbies, teach each other things.
Exactly.
She's given him archery lessons, I think.
Yeah. Cecil can use a bow once he's no longer a Dark Knight.
Well, speaking of Cecil, are we about to see our hero to wield that crystal sword? Or the betrayer?
He wants so hard to go and replace Cecil. And Pankraz is just saying, no, you're not Cecil. You're not good enough to be Cecil. Spears are cool and all, but I have a crystal sword. Give me Cecil.
Yep. That was a pretty quick dismissal. Not surprised. We haven't seen anything for Kane, have we?
I don't. I think the Ogre X that Sid is using is the most for Kane. Technical Link asking, what if Cecil's not in the seed? Well, that's a good chance because we do have distinct 10 on. There will be 2 characters excluded from the seed, and we've seen 1 duplicate of Edge. We have 2 character spots in Zot, 1 on the Moon, 1 in the Giant, and I can't remember who the character in the bed was if we've seen them, but oh my goodness, we have the Twin Harp. That is objective number 2, ready to complete it for Pankraz.
Yeah, we're going to see a pretty direct flight from here to Troya. And then another direct flight on the back of a bird. Yeah, I'm wondering about that Sand Ruby, that bed character, because Nightdew obviously had to go to Kaipo to complete the package scene. Did Nightdew peek in there? I do not know.
Yeah, I think Pankraz went into Kaipo early as well, but I don't know if we checked that character.
I think our tracker has us covered. Thank you, Chazman. Bed is Rydia. Nightdew checked it.
All right, so that means we have 4 unseen character spots left. The Earth Crystal and the Darkness Crystal and the Giant. 2 of those will be duplicates, so we have 2 more characters to see. This is a 50-50 odds Cecil isn't around to go and use his big shiny sword.
Nightdew's still working on that Wyvern, getting the life potions out, getting damage out, and just waiting for those nukes to hit and bringing characters back up.
Yeah, this battle of attrition is much more scary when those life potions go down to single digits.
I'm enjoying talking free enterprise with you here, Baka, but in a little bit, I think we're obliged not to talk free enterprise.
Are they kicking us out?
We get to stay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing they really want to go and hear that harp music that is replacing the vanilla music Eddie plays here.
Yep. One of the terrific spots in this randomizer is to see what random song instead of that traditional Eddie Dirge gets played, and we're just moments away, so I'm going to back off the mic at this point.
I'll congratulate Nightdew on getting his Baron Key and also back off. And that being Yuna's theme is a lovely rendition on the harp, and Pankraz showing off. Normally we use a strategy called Life Lock if we're not going in using Star Veils to reflect their lives, but there's another objective completed for Pankraz. That is 3 objectives down, 1 to go.
Gotta hear the music tonight. In order to complete this seed, 2 objectives locked up behind the harp. So yeah, as you said, we are down to boss hunts, and we do not yet have moon access. Often a pretty popular thing would be, because you know there's so many bosses you can easily pop in and face check. So we'll see what Pankraz does now that he knows he is 1 boss check away from go mode.
Yeah, I wonder if Pankraz is going to go and check that Baron's basement, as he did not go and check the boss there. But I believe, unless I'm mistaken, that puts Pankraz... Pankraz hasn't walked the sealed cave yet, so he doesn't know that it's just dolls and an Excalibur down there. And also does not know... we don't know where Darkness Crystal is, but is almost guaranteed to be either... Well, it is guaranteed to be... Oh, excuse me, I was correct for first time. Almost guaranteed. Let me go and explain my thoughts. There are 3 key item spots open. The Odin Throne, the Ashura spot, and the Leviathan spot. And then there's the wildcard spot of the Demas that we still haven't found.
Yep, and there are 2 sneaky spots it could be. It could be at that first spot on the hook, which runners now have access to. We saw the DM sprite in the second spot, but you have to walk all the way down to peek the King Queen Evelyn spot. Or it could be in the Vanilla Magus Sister spot up in Zot. So 2 spots runners typically do not go unless they are forced out of desperation. The exact opposite of desperation down here, though. This is a free boss. Pankraz has hourglasses for these guards, so we're about to see if this is our progression, or if Pankraz is going to have to take on that Fey March, or make one of those more out-of-the-way checks.
Yeah, and Pankraz, a very heads-up play, is going and switching to Medusa arrows instead of the mute arrows that did bonus damage to Ashura. This is because, bit of inside knowledge. Thanks to some efforts by accident, we have decompiled parts of the code of Final Fantasy IV and have learned that the ATB bar plays a part in going and proccing statuses. If their ATB bar is empty, statuses are very likely to proc, hence why Pankraz just chose to use those Medusa arrows and got 2 stone proc. And also got a path.
This could be a darkness-free go mode if we can find one of these bosses here before the moon. So that's kind of interesting. we may have someone go to the next round without even finding the darkness crystal. I think it's probably unlikely, but it could happen.
Yeah, that is such a scary choice. Pankraz knows the 3 boss spots he hasn't checked. You got that Luca Cave, that Magus Sister spot, and the King Queen spot. None of them are particularly fast to run to either, so you never want to do them. If you're Pankraz, after you check the Luca Cave, do you go and peek those spots and see if you can just get go mode off that, or do you do the Fey March bosses and assume, I'm going to get darkness, I'm going to go and get to the moon, and I can go and get one of the bosses there?
Yeah, that is a tough decision, and I think maybe even tougher just by the fact that this is our decisive Game 3. Both runners have 1 win, and the second win sends one of them onward and ends the tournament for the other one. So yeah, that's... My first instinct is take out that Keinatsu with some good timing, with nerfing a wave or 2. I think we have some claws that can do some elemental damage to it. I'm not that... I feel like that Pale Dim's going to take a while, given I don't think we have any dragon killing stuff at this point.
Yeah, I was personally hoping to see that Gakol shop sell some Artemis arrows so you can go and load up Rose and let her go to town, but no dragon killing gear.
No.
We don't even have a Dragoon Spear for the Kane that we have dismissed either, if I'm not mistaken.
And I don't think we've seen a Dragon Whip for potential San Ruby Iridia, so those are basically your options.
Yeah.
But Pankraz doing the thing we know is not going to pay off, but it makes total sense to do it at this point. It could be a key item you need. It could be a boss. We just happen to, because Nightdew checked it already, that's not going to pay off.
Yeah, this is giving me a bit of time back to Nightdew's. Nightdew already did this check, and Nightdew still needs to go to the Twin Harp check to be at the same point where Pankraz is. There's going to be Twin Harp and the Barren Basement. But yeah, Pankraz, this is the best check to make. It's a key item. It's not the Feymarch bosses. It's going to be easier than, if this key item here, it's easier than the Feymarch bosses. And you can see value before you need to go and take these fights. You can reset out if it's nothing. So yeah, this is definitely Pankraz's optimal play, just not going to go and provide the progression he wants.
Let's play the game where how much of the graphics of the dolls will we see? What fraction of a second will they be on the screen before that reset is mashed?
I'm going to say 40 frames.
Someone count right now. 1, 2. I got to 2. I'm not sure if that was accurate.
40 frames. But Chad is pointing out that Pankraz is at 9 key items, so I can see this going, encouraging Pankraz to hit this Feymarch. Darkness has to be around. You need a way to the moon. And 10 key items gets you double experience. That goes and opens up options. It can be an off-meta play to go and just hunt for the bosses, see if you can pull Ogopogo or Water Hag in one of those 2 spots.
Yep.
Or Demas, because Demas could be cheeky and give you a tower key that leads to one of the bosses and a darkness crystal, but definitely much more reliable to go and take these bosses, try and get the almost guaranteed key item progression here.
The King Queen Evelyn spot or the Magus Sister spot, those if that ended up being it, that would be one of those legendary plays where someone goes off the beaten path to snag the win. That would be it's so low percentage, and as you said, we're kind of going with the more reliable, though we know both these fights are not going to be easy or fast. The levels are decent, and Pankraz is definitely going to get through them, and I'm anticipating seeing Keinatsu first.
Yeah, especially on that Thunderclaw, I have a suspicion that we're going to go and see Keinatsu and just tank waves, go and heal up through them, and just go and do the best. Well, Nightdew has gone and just completely destroyed the Baron Guards and the Basement Throne, getting his pass, but still needs to go back and get his Legend Sword from the Twin Harp. Put the Ice Claw on Keinatsu. Wants to go and queue up the Thor Rage because there's some very specific timing you need to do in order to get this wave to not go off when you have Relative Agility 1 set up. And you have to queue your attack before the wave comes up, dispel the waves before Keinatsu gets a chance to go and queue the wave, because he'll queue it up even if he doesn't have that water showing anymore.
Yep, super important here because, I was just about to compliment Keinatsu's very kind first hit of 1160 on Rosa, but he doubled up. Rosa goes down. It would have been nice to keep her up from the start. But we're doing some damage. Every time you do damage to Keinatsu, you're lowering the potential future wave damage that he's going to send out. So that is very beneficial. Looks like we have another Thor Rage queued up to nerf the next one. And if that worked, we will not see the wave.
Yep, and we're seeing the 2100, 1560 from Edge. That's definitely, you're going to go and chew through a bunch of this HP.
Yeah, this spot has, I think, 23,000 HP, so every round between our 2 martial artists in the front there is doing, on their high rolls, about 10%. We can see we're at the final form right now. So nice job by Pankraz making this look pretty easy. This can be a tricky spot if you're not experienced with handling Keinatsu.
Yeah, Keinatsu is definitely one of the rudest hook bosses because you're very under-leveled compared to that spot, and this is a very technical fight to get through. You need to go and have very precise timing and know exactly how your ATB is working. So GG's to Pankraz for getting through the turtle. And let's see what we get as reward for making some soup.
Yeah, are we forced to step 1 tile to the left and fight a dragon boss, or is this going to send us somewhere else? I think it might be sending us somewhere else.
Oh, if you're Pankraz, do you chase this? Or do you go and just try and kill that stupid turtle? Or that stupid dragon, excuse me. And we're just chasing this.
based on Porm casting exit, we're chasing. Yeah, it just I think, like you said, if we had found Artemis arrows in Kokol, it's a no-brainer, but with how Pale Dim works, how hard it hits, yeah, we have 2 blink casters, people will stay up, but nothing's going to be hitting its weakness, and you're going to be eating those slow casts, so this is much more palatable here. This could, in fact, just simply, this is a hidden boss. This could simply be go mode from the moment we see the sprite, or maybe we'll see sprites.
See some blue ropes, perhaps?
3 water hags. That's triple go mode.
I guess we should let our chat have some fun with more music. With a mute knife that he found early on Edge, doing a lot more damage and can fight faster than Pankraz. While Pankraz found Rubicant trying to be a hotshot in the super cannon room, and got a bit steamed under the collar when Pankraz told him to cool it.
So no immediate go mode because of the boss, but we'll see if the key item, of course, that we get here is not going to guarantee go mode, but darkness, I think, is the thing that's on Pankraz's mind. What do you think? If we see darkness here, we're just going to see a rapid-fire series of boss checks, especially considering 2 of them are at large.
That would be my suspicion. Just go to the moon. You have... it's a higher percentage play because you don't need both of them to be on the moon. You just need one of them at this point. You have 6 checks you can do. Yeah, I like going just to the moon if you can, but instead, we get the pan, so we're still chasing Chain.
Keep delivering these key items where they need to go, perform actions with them, get rewarded with more. This chain could continue. This could be one of those seeds where we hit every possible earthbound chain until darkness is at the end, but we're getting low on key items that are still out there.
Yeah, all right. What's your bet? Earth Crystal or Rat Tail?
From this first one, or combine the 2 checks we're about to see?
Which one do you think we're going to see first?
I anticipate this first one will not be a key item at all, and then we're going to get Spoon from Sheila 2.
Oh. Oh, well.
Huzzah.
You're certainly right, and I think Pankraz appreciates it. Peldum just got a lot less annoying.
Do we see the immediate? No. We got to chase your freebies first, but now Pankraz, is definitely feeling a lot better about taking on that Pale Doom.
Yeah, Artemis arrow is the best arrows in the game, highest attack power, and they do quadruple damage to dragons. Guess who's a dragon?
I'm going to guess Pale Doom is like a super dragon.
He is, in fact, a super annoying dragon because he casts slow after every hit. Rosa can technically bypass those if you use the aim command, or you can just berserk Rosa and see, 2,000 to 3,000 damage probably.
It'd be kind of funny if Sheila 2 gave her heroin robe.
Would be rather amusing, but instead, Sheila 2's like, you don't have to fight Paladin, here's the Darkness Crystal, go to the moon.
Yep, Sid is currently programming in the GPS coordinates for Mysidia, and we're going to see if this airship can get us directly there.
Getting directly there. Nightdew is going directly to the Feymarch as he is out of other options, but we know Kainazo to Tower Key is one way to the moon. If he does Paladin, that does provide different options though, because Paladin could go and you can still get the Earth Crystal that will gate a boss, and we could go and have one or both bosses in the Tower of Zot.
Yeah, the most amazing thing that would happen though would be, of course, the Earth Crystal pointing you towards Zod, and then you winding up in that spot. That's available from the get-go.
Yep.
Just kind of the pull of the Earth Crystal is the only reason that brings you there. But similar to Pankraz, Nightdew is going to be taking on the K Not-So first, and we'll see if he immediately chases the tower key when he receives it.
Yeah, that again, Paladin is a very annoying boss in that location, and yeah, really have to blink up everyone for the punch in that spot, because Leviathan has about the maximum attack power you can have. So he is just going to go and wipe the floor with your characters. But we do have another thing we haven't been able to get for some time. That is another character check. Is Cecil going to be on the moon? Will we get to play with a crystal sword? Or are we going to be sorely disappointed to find that it's yet another edge that we can't take with us?
At this stage, Baka, I mean, I guess you take the Cecil despite there not being slingshot. I mean, you're going to the moon, you have sirens, you have hourglasses. I think with that crystal sword, it's a must take.
It's very hard for me to say no to Cecil with a crystal sword because it's 250 attack. It gives plus 15 strength. It's the most completely busted weapon in the game. Yang can try and get up there with weapons. Edge, if you find two good ones, will get up there. Sin, however, his best weapon's probably an Ogre. Okay, his best weapon's an Artemis bow with Artemis arrows, but you're going to be hard-pressed to find those and want to keep using them.
Yeah. Yeah, wondering if we'd see Bahamut first for the check, but we're going to see that character check first. I bet Pankraz has similar thoughts to what you just expressed, and we'll see if they get rewarded as we wait. I always find this wait for the character, it's not that long, but it always bugs me a little bit because I just want to know.
Feels so long.
There he is!
The shiny beacon of hope is on the moon. Do you go and join us, Mr. I can use the most powerful weapon in the game?
Who gets dumped? There's the Sid.
Bye, Sid.
See you later, Sid. Thanks for getting us through Yang, about an hour ago, but we don't need you anymore.
Thanks for the carry. We appreciate it. Honest. And Cecil, get in. We have shiny toys for you.
So I suspect we're about to see some sirens popped over in K Bahamut. Really easy access to that very lucrative, both in terms of money, but more importantly right now, experience. So I bet we're going to see that grind. I wonder, I think we're probably even going to see the boss face checked first, because you can use the siren right from the vantage point of seeing the boss. So we'll get some information, and Cecil will get some needed levels.
Yeah, I think the big question is, if it's a blue robe, do you bother grinding, or do you just go for it and see if it's the Elk Gauntlet?
Yeah, I would say if it was the blue robe, you just take it, and I think Pankraz probably had a similar thing in mind. Quick reset, we can grind somewhere else, though. Is he going to take a rest?
Yeah, everyone's at 1 HP. Even if you have hourglasses, Gold Dragon is going to hurt a wee bit, so I can see not wanting to go and just walk into that.
Nightdew has gotten his K Not-So fight down to shell phase, so a few more hits to take out the turtle. Turtle getting some healing, 10% back with that remedy, similar to the Wyvern. Let's see what kind of damage we're getting per round. About 1,000 from Edge.
I don't know if Nightdew has Ice Claws on either Edge or Yang. That was the big source of extra damage for Pankraz.
Yeah, Pankraz was occasionally getting 2k hits. Yep, this phase, K-Natsu's kind of fun because while the water's up, he's weak to the lightning damage, and while it's down, as it is now, he's weak to ice, so you often will see runners with a Yang equipping both claws for that fight to hit the weakness no matter which phase he's in.
Yeah, it is an amusing thing I learned from the vanilla game, as I believe Kainaza was only weak to lightning, as the only way I beat Kainaza was casting Lit 3 with Tela. There is that tower key. Does Nightdew choose to go and take that? No, Nightdew. Well, Nightdew is going back and forth. I think Nightdew might take that Paladin fight. Meanwhile, Pankraz is showing off the effect of those lovely Artemis arrows, doing 3,600 damage with Rosa and showing off a Life 1 glitch with Porum. I don't know if Pankraz found any more life potions and wants to be very conservative with the few he has.
Guess there was a chance if he hadn't just gotten those late Artemis arrows, this would have been a Warlock grind instead.
I think that is definitely not an unlikely thing to do. Warlocks you can kill with coffins. If you have things set up well, you could even mute them and use the fact that they're trying to enter the queue to queue up a coffin and throw some more extra lives on them to get more life glitches. But yeah, Cecil just went from level 1 to level 34, and we're going to go and give him another almost 200,000 experience.
That's a lot. That's a big number.
That is, yeah, that's... Cecil went from 600 HP to 1583, which that's a very nice number. Almost, with the exception of Yang going in, almost passing everyone in the party.
Yep, and this one I think is going to put him well into the 2K range. And at that point, you're basically ready for Z with a Crystal Sword. We'll see how much farther Pankraz takes this and when the face checking will begin.
Yeah, we've got 4 and 5 levels on Edge and Porum, 6 levels on Yang. Yeah, this is where Pankraz says, okay, I'm good to go. One more of those gold dragon plates would take Cecil all the way up to 45, which very important level if you are dealing with vanilla agility and making Cecil as your anchor, because that is when he is 28 agility, and I mentioned earlier that the anchor goes and determines how fast things are. In the vanilla game, Cecil is always your anchor, and that is the lowest breakpoint where you change Zeromus's agility from acting once every ATB tick to once every 2 ATB ticks. That can be a pretty big shift depending on what your plans are.
Yeah, certainly. You want to have more actions relative to bosses, especially Zeromus at the end, as you want to leverage that as best as you can. Whether you're berserking, whether you're taking the time to menu for reflex strats, you just want all the time to do the things you need to do and avoid the devastating Zeromus wipes, which, as good as all the runners in the tournament have been, Zeromus, sometimes you want to go right up to the edge of survivability and to gain some speed in finishing your seed. So, we may not see overwhelming grinds here, but we did just find Go mode.
Yep, Pankraz resetting out of reflex. Like, wait. Okay, actually might need to go and do something else, as we do want to heal up this team, because Ogopogo, he casts Big Wave twice specifically, and Big Wave, each time it hits your character, takes off 25% of their maximum HP.
Yep, you want to go in as full as you possibly can. Crystal Sword Cecil and his well-meaning contributing friends are going to slice this challenging boss up at this point. That grind paying off immediately.
Yeah, that is... It's hard to ever say no to a Crystal Sword Cecil, but it's really hard to say no to a Crystal Sword Cecil when you know that there's a good chance you have to fight Ogopogo, and you just want to rip through this boss. 3,000 damage! None of our characters, even when exploiting weaknesses, have gotten to that point.
I think only Rosa against the dragons was the only other time we saw numbers that big.
True. And we did see Nightdew do aim against Ashura, but Ogopogo's got no weakness. The Crystal Sword just simply says everything's weak to damage, right? Speaking of Nightdew, he has gotten his pan. He has gone and bonked Yang in the Sylph Cave and is going to go and be getting his Darkness Crystal very shortly, and is going to be on Pankraz's heels.
So, I mean, Pankraz has had a very clean run. He had a couple fights that were a little slower than Nightdew. I'm not sure how, what Pankraz's state of mind is at this point. Do you think there's any chance we see a swag walk, or are we going to see a quick dip back to save?
Rosa's got over 2,000 HP. You've got a cursed ring. You have 2 sources of berserk. I wouldn't be surprised by a swag walk, because Rosa over 2,000 HP is a big thing for me to think how well, to wonder about how well I can get through Z.
Right. At the same point, it's a time save of, maybe 5 to 10 seconds, whereas in the worst case that you have a wipe, which we both probably think is unlikely. Oop, almost. Okay, we're going to take the few seconds to save.
Pankraz was tempted.
We had a swag step.
Really almost succumbed to that temptation, and I don't blame him, because we have had so many races so close in this tournament. If you haven't been following this tournament, you can come and see. We have a VOD list on our Discord, the free FF4 Free Enterprise Discord. Just has a lot of good matches, a lot of matches just determined by seconds. We had 2 different ties this tournament as well. There's just so many good races to see. And this has definitely been another one of them.
It has. Runners were very close early. Pankraz started to pull ahead a little bit with some of perhaps that early grinding. And right now, Pankraz is firmly in control of his own fate, attempting to move on past this round into the next.
These flag sets, I mean, Pankraz and Nightdew have both pretty much full cleared the Earth, with the exception of the Tower of Zot. And hour 24 in, getting to Zeromus, hour 24 in, just full clearing the seed. That's nothing to sneeze at when you can't sell items to get to the shop. But I do see that we have something else being asked. What's a Z? I believe the question is.
It is, and you gave it away. You said the Z word. You said Zeromus just moments ago. We're about to fight the final boss named Zeromus. However, he's not going to look like what he looks like right now. He's not going to look like the vanilla boss sprite. We have an amazing dev team, and they have done some terrific work. In addition to our random music, we have a random sprite that we're about to find out. And we like to ask the question at this point: whose butt are we going to kick tonight?
257 different butts to choose from as well, so got a lot of good ones. And then we got a lot of them that may or may not haunt my dreams.
We'll see which one we get here. And despite the facelift, the Zeromus fight stays exactly the same. We still have the big bangs. We still have nuke counters. And Pankraz is going to hope that he doesn't have to reset or take a wipe here. We have Resetimus.
Yes, the enemy of all speedrunners, the reset button. Is it the enemy, or is it just, try again next time?
Pankraz is definitely hoping this is one and done. No resets, no tries again. We got damage coming out.
Still have queued up to go and trigger a counter nuke, as in the Zeromus fight, he's kind of rude. He likes to go and counter spells that you cast on him with nuke, and the nuke does a fair amount of damage, but it's also less damage because he likes to shift on that spell power, so it's not just instantly delete a character. Just, 1600 damage. It's mean, it's deadly, but it's not going to just delete a character. It also means that when he casts Big Bang, he might be at a lower magic power, because for the first one, he doesn't set him magic power for Big Bang. All the ones afterwards, he will, but this nuke, it's at a lower magic power, so he's going to do less damage for us.
That's true, and was even able to get the Cure spell off on Edge to allow Edge to survive even that nerfed Big Bang. Another kind of safety cure coming out behind it. Edge is fine, and we're about to see this first Big Bang hit and not do that much damage.
Yeah, meanwhile, Nightdew is following Pankraz's path, going into Cave Bahamut to go and check. A lot of the runners making a lot of the same decisions. Not because they're, copying of each other, but these are definitely some very good common decisions to make. Cave Bahamut is a good place to check when you're on a boss hunt, but Nightdew is choosing to go and do his grind here.
We have the classic Berserk strat fight here, where you have 3 melee users swinging away. We have 2 white mages backing them up, able to re-berserk them if the berserks fall, if a black hole hits, but more importantly, able to cure them up in between big bangs.
Pankraz is throwing a wall on Rosa. I suspect this means that Pankraz is going to go and try and nerf the next big bang. The first one, as I mentioned, is free because you just need to cast any spell and Zeromus will lower his magic power. The later ones, well, Zeromus, they expect that Zeromus is going to be throwing out a lot of those counter spells because you have 2 mages in your party. You might be throwing nukes with Rydia, you might be going in throwing out some flows with Rosa. And they want to make sure that Big Bang's a suitable power. So he's going to go and reset his magic power after he's set, after he shakes. But if you go and wait the correct amount of time, you get Zeromus cast another nuke, well, he doesn't go and keep shifting his magic power before casting Big Bang each time. He goes and just does it once. So you can go and get the second Big Bang to a lower damage as well.
So what we saw Pankraz do there, he saw the shake, and then he waited for the Cecil up in the top to take his 1 berserk swing, and that was Pankraz's cue to throw a Thor Rage, which counts, of course, as a spell, only does 1 damage, but that's not the point there. It's going to do all that stuff you mentioned in resetting spell power. And the Cecil's probably going to go down from this, but everyone else should only be taking minimal damage.
Yeah, and unfortunate that Cecil is going down, but always,
barely
got the life potion queued up, just have to go and re-berserk Cecil. Gonna go and throw a fight command out. Meanwhile, Nightdew is exiting out of this Cave Bahamut. Probably feels good about their levels and is going to be heading down while Pankraz has rocks coming out. Yeah, this is another part of that Zeromus script we were talking about where he shifts again at the last 12,000 HP. Zeromus is going to go and start casting Meteor every time he gets a turn.
Our big swinger went down, but that's okay. We have our 2 other melee fighters up, our white mage healing them, and it looks like Pankraz is about to punch his ticket to the round of 8.
We'll maybe see another set of rocks, but only doing about 1,000 damage to this team, and they all have 2,000 HP. This is definitely looking very secure for Pankraz. But there is the crumble. Pankraz taking first place in this round of 3, going and punching his ticket to the round of 8. GG's to Pankraz with an official time of 1 hour, 30 minutes, 17 seconds, just blazing through this seed. GG's to him, and we will see if we can get Pankraz in here for an interview. Restreamer Dathis is just informing us this is Pankraz's 300th finished seed, so that's a lot of free enterprise to see, and GG to Pankraz for having this be such a monumental occasion for it.
Did you know that, Pankraz?
Did I know what now?
You just completed your 300th seed with that victory. GG to you.
Didn't know until I entered, or until the race finished. So that's neat, and thank you for the GGs.
Really well run race. You, Baka was just saying you blazed through this seed, collected nearly every single key item without having to really do anything of the moon other than that required fight at the end. Bet you were happy that was that your first face check?
Second, if you count the element.
Bahamut.
Yeah.
Yes. That must have been a pretty good feeling at that point.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it was a similar thing in my, I think, first race versus Ikir, or one of my recent races where, go to the bottom of the moon, start face checking, first boss, White Spear Altar, you find the go mode boss. And having it happen again was a nice feeling. Didn't have to go hunting, didn't have to go finding the Earth Crystal, didn't have to go to the Giant. I just found what I was looking for, was able to just go from there.
Definitely went and was there any temptation not to take Cecil, or was there any situation where you wouldn't take Cecil, or is just that Crystal Sword too much to say no to?
Well, I mean, if I didn't have a Crystal Sword, or an X-Cow, or a Lightsaber, or literally any weapon for him, then maybe not. But in this seed, with the lack of power and everything that I was having, Cecil was 100% on. That's the entire reason why I peaked the Dais character before doing Cave Bahamut, just in case it was a go mode boss in there, followed. I wanted to be able to grind, get the Cecil levels, and then fight the boss just right then and there. Instead, I get to do that after a little bit of walking. Given my weapon situation, given the levels that I hadn't done a grind, that I wasn't a reflect party, Cecil was making it in.
Yeah, definitely. And you did that.
Sorry. Yeah, I have to call attention to this.
Go for it.
Pankraz, congratulations on going in at the bottom of the moon, face checking and finding Ogopogo as your first check. Your reward for not going and checking Ribbon Room is discovering that Water Hag is there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's
something.
That's amazing. Well done, Dathis, for that particular arrangement.
I've avoided that long and arduous fight.
I'm sorry.
You had the crystal sword.
I can't stop laughing.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, your Ogo fight didn't take that many more than 3 swings with the crystal sword, but it was a couple more.
3, 6, it's all the same. Less text boxes, maybe it all equals out or something. I don't know.
Definitely less Anna, that's for sure. I don't know if you remember back. I'm sure you're feeling really great about your win, and congratulations on making it now to the round of 8, where you await your opponent. Your opponents, you have 2 potential opponents. They haven't even started yet. Their first game is tomorrow night. But can I take you back to the beginning of the seed when you had that pretty intense vanilla karate fight in Baron Inn? What were you thinking? What were you thinking during that fight?
During the fight, it was like, oh god, am I gonna make it through this? Just keep throwing Cure 2 potions, keep attacking. He's got to be getting close now, right? 200 damage, Sid, do better. Just over and over, hoping that something goes. But immediately afterward, with just the lightsaber as the reward, with the annoying amount of time that I invested in it, I knew, A, I had to make this Yang worth it. I had to get him some levels and get him to start punching things to get me through things faster. And B, that this was an aggressive move and it did not quite pay off. I'm feeling a little bit behind right now. So keep up the aggression, get him some levels, get him punching. And the big sigh of relief was as soon as I found Val at the back attack spot. Because I knew that getting the Yang, getting through, having a easy, air quotes, time through Dwarf Castle, easier to get the hook, to get the edge, to be able to dart through that Val. It was, 10 or so minutes of panicking and being like, I'm probably behind right now with all this time saved, to I'm probably even if Nightdew did a standard route or a standard overworld circuit.
Pretty good guess, because you definitely did lose time in that Baron Inn. Nightdew got through it a bit faster, but Nightdew did run into that Val first, and the package was the first edge that Nightdew saw, so that
he aimed or powered his way through the Valvalis?
He aimed his way through Valvalis and ended with a total of 4 HP on his entire party. If you discount
more than you need.
Yeah. And okay, maybe he had 7 because Sid was stoned and was not in fact dead.
Doesn't count.
You were able to dart there, and your dart hit for over 2,500. I'll just let you know, none of Rose's aims hit for close to 2,500 there. So that was,
good to know.
Of course, yeah, not surprising, of course. But that was an interesting thing early on, where he had the much faster dwarf fight, but you had the much faster back attack Val fight.
Yeah, you had a fair bit of back and forth. Just both of you taking some rude fights early on, but you did choose to do both of you chose to use your Siren early to get through some fights, but you chose to augment your Siren with a door grind. How are you feeling burning 2 Star Veils to go and get that 60,000 experience?
I was feeling pretty alright with it. There was the one in the starter kit. I looted and threw away one of them at some point. Or maybe it was just looted one of them in, Antlion. And Golbez was already out of the pool. I knew I wouldn't need it for him, I just need them for a Wyvern or an Asura if I need to bounce 2 Veils onto it. And I felt pretty comfortable investing that to get the extra bit of XP. Since at that moment I didn't have Edge, I didn't know about Sirens in Cave Eblin, I had nothing. I was just hoping for some XP, hoping to get through this aggressive play early on, and it worked out.
And it most certainly did. Go ahead.
It was just it was great because you had these two opportunities where Eddie had a chance to shine by just darting off stage right, and helped you out during the Golbez to limit the character pool, but then it helped you there to redirect. Eddie saw that disrupt coming in and he wanted no part of it.
Yeah, I had no clue that would happen. that was like, I saw the targeting. I'm like, oh, hide, Edward, stay alive, and then it retargets to Yang instead of completely fizzling, and I didn't know it would do that. That was a nice stroke of luck.
Yeah, we all learned something.
Forward.
Absolutely. Not only door grind strats, Eddie door grind strats.
Oh yeah, just get a whole party of Edwards, and then you only need 1 star veil to get XP on everybody.
But this is you advancing on, and how are you feeling going to the next round of this tournament?
I'm feeling pretty good. Pretty alright. I feel been playing really well lately, played well in this series, and hoping to continue on the streak. Nightdew, fantastic runner, fantastic opponent. I'm glad that I was able to eke out a win here and advance on, and I know that it's only going to get even more difficult now. So, hoping to continue playing well, hoping to continue moving on, and hoping to maybe, just maybe, make my bracketology prediction come true.
After the show, I certainly can't root against you. You've put on an amazing show for us. Do you have any final questions, Mike or Corks?
I do not. Just one more hearty GG. It's always impressive to watch you run and learn tricks, even a trick that you yourself didn't know until this seed happened. So I wish you the best of luck, and I'm sure your eyeballs are going to be on your the Starman versus Solaris round 1 tomorrow night. Those are your 2 potential opponents, so that you have potentially 3 times to see them if it goes that far with their series. A little scouting in your future, Pankraz?
Oh yeah, definitely. But even if it's not for scouting, it's watching 2 great runners play for Enterprise, and that's a pretty good day in my book. So, looking forward to those matches, looking forward to seeing who my opponent will be, and looking forward to watching this one back with all the fantastic commentary from you, Baka and Microquarks, as well as the fantastic experience of Dathis pushing or rather Chasman pushing buttons and Dathis putting on the show. Appreciate all of you making the show happen for the triple header on Randomania tonight.
Thank you for being part of it as well. We wouldn't have a show without you.
Always aim to entertain.
Thanks again, Pankraz. Good game and good luck moving forward.
Thank you. GG's.
GG's. And with that, we also say GG's to Nightdew, who has finished the time of 1 hour 40 seconds or 1 hour 40 minutes, excuse me, and 35 seconds. GG's Nightdew, and we are joined by him now as well. GG's Nightdew.
GG Nightdew.
That siege was not kind to you in some of those early fights.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, we had, like, especially after Forum came in, like, we had, and I love a double white mage setups in these flags. The great thing is we can pretty much survive through anything. Unfortunately, Young, we never like got any kind of like real strength enhancements. Sid's stuck on an ogre axe. Cecil's vacationing on the moon. Edge never got anything better than a middle and a mute knife. We're just, yeah.
The lack of power reader's head when you had to take on that nasty back attack Val, relying on Rose's aim to kind of piecemeal your way through that. And we noticed, of course, that I think you... thinking and getting stronger, or was it just, hey, I have aim, I can get through this, it's not going to be quick, but I can do it?
One siren on me. I would have loved, like a heroine robe or something. I mean, Rosa had samurai charm arrows, I believe. So it's not like she had like bad things. And I'm thinking like, well, and then I'm seeing like half of Val's weeks are just straight up missing, as well as the rays. And I'm thinking, well, if this is something, it might be something I wanted to take a little bit of kind of edge case fights there. It might have put me ahead, and I'm thinking, okay, package got me, and okay, this was worth it. And maybe not after I saw the edge on the hook route.
It was an unfortunate point of divergence between you two, because Pankraz did a cheeky grind in the sealed cave and did Dwarf Castle before even finishing off some parts of the overworld, and had that hook and picked up his edge there.
Had darts then, okay.
Yeah, started the lightsaber because he also knew that crystal sword was going to come out, and well, that crystal sword was from the pink tail, so that definitely gave Pankraz some time for you. But you picked up some time on the Baron infight, which Pankraz chose to very aggressively go for.
Yeah,
how are
I
you?
get why. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh no. I mean, it was. Oh man, what even was the second half of Baron in?
It was
Okay,
the vanilla
vanilla.
karate.
Oh yes.
Yeah, he
I
was
think if you
sprung through it,
compare,
and
yeah, if you compared like your remaining hit points at the Val fight and Pankraz's remaining hit points during that karate fight, they would be similar. You definitely flip flop the efficiency on those two fights in terms of who was in better position to take them on at the time. So it was kind of an interesting semi-mirror look there.
Yeah, I really wish I hadn't Hail Married that Berserk onto Sid during the Val fight. That ate a ton of time. It's really weird when you're just going through, and I feel like I lost a ton of time on Wyvern up at the top of the tower as well. That thing I could not just keep my footing, and then I'm looking at my life potion count there, and I'm like, well, I want to Berserk with these two, but I need life ones because I have like one life potion remaining, and I'm allergic to shops too, so...
both of you had pretty similar Wyvern fights, to be entirely honest, just because Pankraz took a wipe on that as well. Just first fight did not go his way, and that fight was mean to both of you, to be entirely honest. I think you might have gotten through it a bit faster overall, just because you did not end up taking a wipe. You were able to get through it your first try, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it just yeah, and that's kind of why I tried to fade the Fey March for as long as I could. And like, yeah, I can probably take this Kanyatso, I can probably take this Pale Dim, but I'm not doing so anywhere fast, and that's why I just kind of left them for last. And I don't think did we have 10 key items before that? I think we just barely had 10 key items before that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but
I believe you got 10 key items off the tower key from Kenazo.
okay, yeah, that makes a whole lot more sense there. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I was almost about to go steal some sirens maybe and run that way. I mean, we didn't exactly have a good starting pool of stuff, but it was just like, yeah, we just grinded our way through, but we weren't really going anywhere fast.
Yeah, this seed was a real grind with all the damage options you had until the very end. I asked Pankraz this question, I'm going to ask you. Did you have any temptation not to take that Cecil at the end of the seed?
No, I knew I was taking a few gold dragons. I wanted to strap that crystal sword onto a paladin. Of course, this is like the one seed, or I'm rushing into that pink tail check, and I am praying for Hanzo. I'm not praying for a crystal sword. I wanted Hanzo. It shows me a crystal sword, and I'm like, well, okay, fine.
You allowed it to spend time in your inventory awaiting that last character check that both of you made and getting the payoff there. Yeah, I mean, just if darkness had simply shown up sooner, it would have been a very different seed for sure. Though it's kind of ironic that we saw the Lunar Sparkle after Lunar Sparkle kind of ticking it off and just not finding that Ogo. I don't know if you got a chance to discuss or if you were watching the VOD and you saw where Ogo landed at the end.
Yeah, he actually, yeah, we first thing he asked actually was he said, "Did you find Water Hag, or was it the White Spear Ogo photo?" And I'm like, "Oh my god!" and then I'm like, "Did you check next door?" And he's like, "That would be yeah." So we had a good chuckle out of that.
I wasn't able to contain my laughter on that. That was
the fitting end.
With those two bosses right next to each other, were you ever tempted to go looking for them in the odd spots of Earth, such as Magus Sisters or King Queen Emblem, or decided that we're just chasing Moon, one of them's got to be up there?
At the point where I have two of them left, yeah, I'm like, where's this Darkness Crystal? Where is this Darkness Crystal? I have all the first three. One of these has to be up there, and of course the first boss I see up there is Elements and the K value. Face check Murasame, hey look, an alt gauntlet, that's no good, and then everybody's hiding on LST7, party in the subterrane.
Just they're just vibing next door.
Yep.
Does unfortunately put you out of the tournament, but what are your thoughts and feelings so far of your run in the tournament?
I mean, obviously, I had a huge blast here, and I'm actually, first off, hats off to Pankraz. He's an absolutely incredible runner, and yeah, I mean, I know the predictions over in bracketology. I wanted to bust so many brackets here. And to be honest, I'm thinking, okay, I go down 2-1. I consider that a pretty good showing there. It could have went either way. There's no shame whatsoever in losing to Pankraz here. I wish him all the best. I wish him to win now because he took me out. And hey, if you lose to the champion, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, getting that first game win over him was definitely potentially foretelling the busting of the brackets, and you definitely put up 3 great runs in these 3 seeds. So congratulations on your run overall in this tournament.
Yeah, thank you. And the one thing, hey, I'm free. I can go check out this ladder now.
I was going to ask. I just took a peek. You've done 1 ladder race, and I've kind of been a ladder junkie since being eliminated from the tournament. And I take it there's going to be another highly skilled competitor joining us for more regular races.
There will be a few here. I'm gonna take a little break. There is gonna be a large Mass Effect shaped thing, probably taking a little bit of my attention here as of tomorrow. So, but yeah, I will definitely, hopefully, be lurking around the ladders and jumping in a few of those.
Yeah, ladder's fun. Definitely agree. May or may not have played 20 some odd matches, and mostly in the last week, but definitely a great thing to play, and also fine to take a good break from Free Enterprise because you have definitely been on this grind for a bit.
Yeah, hey, I get to do things that aren't bracket flags. This is, like, I barely played any Sea Hero. I want to start doing some of this stuff.
Sea Hero is fun. I enjoy it.
All right, but yeah, again, hats off to Pankraz, hats off to the crew. I'm sure I'll be trying to poke my head in the commentary and tracking booth as well. So, again, GG, and I hope for a wonderful end to this tournament.
GG's to you. Fantastic run.
GG. Have a great night. Thank you.
You too.
And with that, we are at the end of our race. This is not the end of Free Enterprise for this evening, as there will be another race occurring at 10 p.m. on Free Enterprise, excuse me. But we are not going to be sending you there, as there's about an hour before it starts. We are instead going to send you over to Speed Gaming for the No Hungry Kid Charity Marathon. Dr. Cossack will be running FF4FE tonight, so it won't be the run on at the moment, but it will be on a bit later. But always worthy to go and support a charity.
Certainly. We're going to send you over there, support a charity, watch a whole bunch of other fun gamers playing their fun games, and as Baka noted, Free Enterprise getting a spotlight later tonight with Dr. Cossack, so that'll be fun to watch as well, along with our last match of the night coming up later tonight at 10 p.m.
Yes, definitely feel free to come back to Free Enterprise to watch it. Also, please do not spoil the results of this race to anyone in that chat who, they may not be Free Enterprise fans, but maybe there's some there who are very interested in wondering, did their bracket get busted to high heavens, or did Pankraz pull out a victory for them to keep them safe and secure? So feel free to let them know that we had a great race and it's highly recommended to see.